Well, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to the most shocking episode of the Overreaction Buffalo Postgame Show on the Overreaction Sports Network, powered by, presented by FanDuel. That's what this is supposed to be. My name is Joe Miller, and you can find me on Twitter, Joe Miller Wired, alongside my co-host, who seems to be my ride or die here for the last month or so. John Fina, former Buffalo Bills offensive tackle, John Fina from the glory days. And John, you were a part of so many games that we remember and teams that we remember, and this is one of those games as well. But do us a favor, everybody that's with us, please please subscribe, whatever platform you are consuming this presentation on, whether live right now, YouTube, Twitter, or in post as a podcast. John, you're going to have to carry this show because I'm in a football stadium with 72,000. Well, maybe not 72,000 of my best friends, because there were some Ravens fans there. And this game, up until 5 minutes are left in it, I'm just thinking of all the shitty things I want to say about my favorite football team. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the Bills grasp victory from the jaws of defeat. And my notes are completely irrelevant. All of them are irrelevant.
No, they're not. They are not irrelevant, Joe. None of your notes are irrelevant. Thanks for joining us. If you're sitting in traffic at Highmark State.
Oh, John Free. Did I lose you, John? Did I lose you, or did I think
the game? Your notes are still I've got mine. Although our heads are swimming, and I'm got no voice from screaming at the TV. 22 points in the fourth quarter, Joe. Are you freaking kidding me? And why did they wait until the middle of the third to start playing football?
I heard on one of on the radio station, it was like Josh Allen was like 16 of 21 for 251 yards in the fourth quarter. Like, he had a full game stat, and it's just oh my gosh, it's just unbelievable. And as I walked in the door, my mouse isn't working. As I walked in the door, I also heard on Sunday Night Football in America, the Fina thing that I always see, or Football Night in America. They said that Matt Prater, he's never done this, or the Bills have never done this before. He's never done this before, and it's actually, I don't think that's true. I think Marshawn Lynch's first game, he was potentially the kicker. Somebody can Google this. And they literally did the race on the field to beat the Bills in Marshawn Lynch, which was a home opener. Somebody can Google that and find out, but I think it's possible that he was the kicker back then. But we have our first super chat from Elton Cepeda. He says, if Tyler Bass is our field goal kicker, we lose. That is not true.
But thanks for the comment, Elton. Man, way to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory right here in the first 5 minutes of the podcast. Hey, listen, we appreciate you. Tyler Bass makes that kick when he's healthy. Obviously, Prater's here because he's not. But right, I think Joe could make that kick.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I probably would have been relatively nervous. But yeah, it's I don't, like I said, John, take me through it, because I need to pull my notes up and I need to look at them for a couple of minutes, because this football game starts out right. The Buffalo Bills go right down the field. And he scores that touchdown. He throws that bullet. What was it in the chest of Dawson Knox? And then the Ravens come down, and I think they scored. I don't even know. I'm so back. I'm so turned over right now. Top of my notes.
It went 7-0, 7-3, 7-10, 17-7, 20-7.
It felt like the moment, and I was texting with you and Jerry about it. The moment that it was 3rd and 6, and he throws the tight end screen, or the wide receiver screen to the tight end, which basically put the Bills defense right back on the football field. It was almost from that moment. It was just very much a clunky kind of what is happening up until the last 5 minutes of the game. You're gonna have to take me someplace.
Well, what do you want me to address first? Because I'll stick in this theme right here. I'll stay where we are right here. Completely, almost entirely revamped wide receiver room from basically 2.5 to 6, right. And we don't trust them. I mean, we're never going to get comfortable throwing the ball downfield, throwing the ball 13 plus in the middle of the field if we don't call the damn plays. We can't just assume that the safeties, Hamilton and the other Ravens safety.
The Ravens safety. Sorry.
Anyway, we just can't assume they're going to stop us. We still have to work the middle of the field. We still have to work the ball downfield. And it just seemed like we just wanted to, like, we're going to take our time and get comfortable here for way too damn long.
Right.
That to me was, and me, when I watch a game, I'm like to be calm, cool, collected, and try to think what's the plan here. I'm sitting there going, we got to move the ball downfield. We have to stretch the defense a little bit, and we just waited. Like, why?
Yeah, so, and they had no answer for Derrick Henry. The Bills did go to a 4-3 a couple times I saw, and it still
yes,
didn't.
They did.
Didn't
I thought of you,
work.
Joe. I thought of you on 1st and 10, a 4-3. Listen, the secret to stopping Derrick Henry are two things. Okay.
Yeah.
You got to make the guy bounce to the outside. He's not that guy. He wants to get between the tackles 2 yards deep, and then he's going to break and lean for 6, worst case scenario, 16, the death knell, 30 for a touchdown. That's number one. You got to make that guy bounce. Number two, you got to meet him in the backfield before he gets his head of steam. And a lot of people don't like the kind of slashing defensive tackles that we have. Right. But if you can slash and get upfield and meet him in the backfield, Derrick Henry doesn't go anywhere. He's not a threat. It's only when you sit back and you get absorbed by offensive linemen that he gets that break. And then, man, that freight train, just like on the Overreaction podcast, you hear that freight train coming. It's Derrick Henry, man, and it's no holds barred.
Yeah, for sure. And I would say, as much as you're right, you need to make him bounce. The second touchdown he had, the 50-yard touchdown, he did bounce to the outside. He bounced to his left to score that touchdown, which was I thought that was the nail in the coffin. And then the Bills obviously take the ball back and immediately punt. And there was like with 10 minutes left in the game, it's like, oh, this game's pretty much over. We have another super chat from Elton Cepeda, who says, did TJ Sanders and Deion Walker play? I saw TJ Sanders out there quite a bit. I didn't overly pay attention to the defensive line as far as who was rotating in. I know both
Deion Walker did see the field. I counted at least 1 rep from him.
Gotcha. And I know I saw Sanders out there quite a bit too, but Bosa had himself a game. Like Joey Bosa had an effect on this. There was a pass rush multiple times when when the Ravens were looking to pass. I think that one of the other issues that I had is like the Bills didn't really have an answer for the Ravens run game, whether it was Derrick Henry or when Lamar would keep the ball and kind of take off. And when the Bills finally did address it, the Ravens were like, okay, we'll just throw it now. And then Lamar started throwing the football all over the football field. And then he would feed Derrick Henry at times, to which Derrick Henry would have some success as well. There's a lot of comments.
It's still a little baffling to me, Joe. You look at the angle that Rapp took on that touchdown, and he was in position to flatten his angle and affect Derrick Henry and keep him from scoring. And I think guys forget how fast Derrick Henry is. Sometimes they just, even Joey Bosa in the first quarter of the game on some of those bootlegs or some of those zone reads, it's more or less a zone read. Lamar pulled the ball and Joey just can't squeeze that much. He's just squeezing down the line. With Lamar Jackson, you take a 1-step squeeze and then you follow him with your eyes because you move your body you displace your body by 2 more men. Forget it. You're not catching him. And he started to figure that out, but that's, kind of first game hype, testosterone, the adrenaline's flowing. And when he finally sat down, he made sense of it. And going back to what you said about pressure on the quarterback, we had a lot of really good pressure from time to time. Yeah. Actually, I was shocked and pleased to see the amount of pressure that we got. And then we were unfortunate, not to get Lamar on that Bosa Rousseau pressure. And he scrambled and ended up going for a first down. But, they have to make that play. You just have to make that play.
Yes. Mimi Fina with a super chat with us with no information. Mimi, if you want to throw some information in there, we will read it. And Elton Cepeda with another super chat says the Bills need help at cornerback ASAP. This isn't sustainable. I would argue as much as Tim kind of says here, I thought the corners were pretty okay in this football game. Sorry, it's flying too fast for me. I thought the corners were pretty okay in this game too. There was a couple moments. Obviously, the defensive holding call against Dorian Strong was a little ticky-tacky. He lost his player on a big gain in one of the drives for the Ravens. The funny part about this game is for the first 55 minutes, it wasn't as much as the Bills had scored 25 points, it wasn't a situation of, well, they're being let down by the defense or they're being let down by the offense. It was holistically just not a good football game. In his post-game presser, Josh Allen even said that it was just a weird kind of situation, which it was, as far as just talking about the game and then the way that it ended, and like Prater having to come on and like kick that field goal in the last seconds, which I'm sitting there like watching the clock. Like,
I know he was a little too casual with that play clock or with the game clock running out.
There was no play clock. There was no play clock.
There was no play. Yeah, with the game clock winding down, and I was like, "Hey, I'm 56. I can see it, Prater. I mean, you can see that clock right there, right?" And I will say, I tend to agree with you. I thought our cornerback play was okay. I think, our safety in our middle of the field play is really still the issue, which we just basically inherited from last year and carried in. There's a problem there, and they got to fix that. And you could call the front six, front seven, the issue with Derrick Henry. They just got to know who the guy is they're playing against, and they got to figure out a way to tighten that up between the tackles. Anytime he gets stacked up behind the line of scrimmage, he stops there. But he loves playing the Buffalo Bills, doesn't he?
Yes.
Until he puts the ball on the carpet.
Yeah, and then everything changed from there. And by the way, it was reminded to me, I normally start these shows, Happy Victory Monday to everybody, which right now it is officially Victory Monday on the East Coast. So happy Victory Monday to all of you. And we probably need to reset just a little bit. And let's do this. The Overreaction post-game show has a new sponsor. And we're going to talk about that here real quick. The Anchor Bar, everybody, proud to talk about the Anchor Bar, home of the original Buffalo Chicken Wing. It's the place to watch Buffalo Bills games and all of your favorite sports teams. Go to anchorbar.com to see all locations and info for food ordering. Anchor Bar original Buffalo wings are fresh, never frozen, jumbo high quality wings. Our wings are deep fried and sauced to your liking with over 24 varieties of sauces and dry rubs to choose from. In addition to their famous original Buffalo wings, the Anchor Bar locations have a wide variety of menu choices such as appetizers, boneless wings, chicken tenders, pizza, beef on weck, fresh burgers, sandwiches, salads, and wraps. Currently, Anchor Bar has 16 locations with 3 new locations opening this fall. One of them in
Tucson, Arizona. So Bills Mafia, you come out to Tucson, you ring me up. I'll meet you at the Anchor Bar over there at 22nd and Wilmot. We'll have a great time. I know the owner, the franchisee. We're excited to get that location going. We're proud to be sponsored by the Anchor Bar, the original Buffalo Chicken Wing.
Yes, the other 2 soon incoming locations, Frisco, Texas, and Raleigh, North Carolina. Very, very proud to rep and sponsor or be sponsored by another big Buffalo brand. And as I always tell people when they ask me from out of town, where should we go get chicken wings? I always tell them, if you've never been to Anchor Bar, you got to go. You got to go. There's a million places you can get chicken wings in Buffalo, but if you've never been to where it all started, you got to go to where it all started. So Anchor Bar, appreciate you. And that's that. So as it pertains to just kind of resetting this show, I'm still like,
okay, I got something for you.
I'm flustered, bro. Yeah, you carry me a little bit here.
I got you. I got something for you. Right. Who turned 100 years old? Marv Levy. And Marv Levy, since the dawn of football, has always said, win the turnover battle, have 100 yards rushing, and 95% of the time you win the game. And if you click through the stats real quick, the Buffalo Bills had 108 yards on the ground, and they won the turnover battle by 1. And they won the damn game. Fortuitous moment when it happened, but I mean, you can't get Marv Levy out of your head, man. The guy is like, he's just a legend. And I will say, shout out to Mimi Fina. She was in the comments here. And right there in the middle of the fourth quarter, Mimi looks up and she says, wait a minute. The time on the clock, and the clock had stopped at that moment. The time on the clock is 7:16. We're gonna win this thing. Now, I mean, I started throwing popcorn at her. I'm like, you're out of your mind, kid. Joe and I picked the Bills to lose the opener, and then she pulls out the Marv Levy 100. 7-1-6, and things have just gone crazy ever since.
Well, at this point, we're going undefeated this season. That's where I'm at. That's what we might as well just say it. But I got a couple of super chats in here. So Ethan,
You missed Elton again.
Or Elton, I said Ethan, Elton Cepeda. So thank you so much. He says if Kian replicates this line, he will be an all-pro. And that's obviously, and I'll get into the stats here momentarily. And I apologize to all of the listeners and viewers that were a little bit all over the place. Not only did I rush home and was in another world, but I'm literally upside down from what the whole game felt like to what it ended like. And then he also says, I love Dawkins, but his penalties killed momentum. You could probably speak to that a little more than I could, John.
Is that an invitation?
If you're
gonna say that, and I don't disagree, then you would also have to agree that missing a sack by Rousseau and Joey Bosa and allowing Lamar to scramble and get the first down is also a break of momentum. He had a chance to change the game there. So it's easy, Elton, and everybody in the comments to pick that out because it has a big yellow marker attached to it. Yes. But there are multiple times during this game where we had opportunities to either make a stop, right, or not commit a penalty and change the game. And in fact, in my opinion, the officials really, every ticky-tack call went their way, didn't go our way.
Right.
Keon Coleman gets virtually undressed on the second 2-point conversion, and that's not called. He gets pushed out of bounds. He comes back in and touches the ball, but nobody seems to know that paragraph of the rule. and who runs out of bounds of their own volition? I'm just going to run out of bounds, so I take myself out of the. We're just going to play with 10, right? That should be something that they should be able to take a look at. You should be able to throw the red flag and say, my guy got pushed out of bounds. Joe Miller assaulted him. Let's go.
100% accurate. But the Buffalo Bills, getting into the stats of this football game, win the game 41-40 in dramatic fashion.
Scorigami!
McKenna and I are sitting there as McKenna went to the game with me, and we're just like, are they going to do this? Is this going to happen? The Buffalo Bills won a football game in a fashion that I probably rivals that of the comeback game, right, against the Houston Oilers.
Never.
Even though that was a playoff game, which had quite a bit more meaning to it as far as that goes. So there was a guy behind me, a Ravens fan behind me, that was just saying it was too easy the whole game, and he wasn't wrong. There was one point that I tweeted out, something to the effect of we have a new offense that basically is that everybody nibbles. Because it was just I don't.
Yeah, we were trying to rinky dink nickel and dime our way down the field. In addition to Deion Walker, TJ Sanders, Javon Solomon got in the game. Ed Oliver came up huge with some fantastic plays. It's hard when you look at a game that rolls out this way, Joe, where you feel like you're getting dominated.
Right.
It's hard to take a step back and remember there were flashes of really good things in there. And as much as Dorian Strong might have had situations where he struggled at corner, the fact that he went out there and he made the start, you just have to understand that the experience of just one game in the frying pan against Lamar, Zay Flowers, I mean, that whole crew,
right?
His experience just expanded immensely. He'll be a different guy in week 2 by being thrown into the fire in week 1. That only benefits us.
Tim Ashenfelter calls me and he says, per Joe Miller early from Twitter, 34-19. What we need here are a couple more wide receiver screens. That should do it. He says, you have to believe, Joe. I was not the only one not believing at that moment.
I will say we threw too many of them, but number of them were quite good. So things that get lost in this game. We saw Reggie Gilliam quite a bit. We saw Alec Anderson on the field. We saw Jackson Hawes on the field. Yes. And if you can really pick up on the 1st and 10 running plays, we had a couple of new wrinkles in the running game that were pretty interesting to see. So whereas it was fun to see the running game with some evolution to it, it didn't look terribly fantastic. But the whole time I'm like, oh, I really like what they're trying to do with the run game. And then I'm like, we're throwing a lot of screens. Keon Coleman had this great camp. Can he not go past 8 yards? Can we get the guy downfield?
Right. Real quick, just kind of on the narrative for the Ravens. Timothy Morgan sends a message or a comment. He says, teams with 40-plus points and 235-plus rushing yards, which I haven't gotten into the stats for the Ravens yet, in a game before this were 277-0, including the playoffs. And now 277-1. What was it? This is the very first time ever in history there was a game that was 41-40. I think is one of the other ones.
Scorigami.
Before I get into the stats, when you look at this Ravens team and this Bills team and going into this, and it's week 1, and it doesn't really, you and I picked the Bills to lose this game. The majority of everybody picked the Bills to lose this game. One of the things that I had said was that, this Bills Ravens kind of thing is kind of like the Bills Chiefs thing in reverse. And then Rich Eisen said it this morning on NFL Network. He said the same exact thing that I've been saying this week, which I was like tickled by. I was like, oh, I'm as smart as Rich Eisen. There wasn't a whole lot going into it. People were asking me in the middle of the game on Twitter, is it time to overreact? To which I said, no, it is clearly not time to overreact. All that to say this is where I'm going with this. If the Bills lose this game tonight, we're on this show talking about like what is up, like what are with the play calls, what was with this. You got to stop. You've seen Derrick Henry enough times. You got to stop him. Like you know what this team is. Why do they seem to have our number? It's not that big of a deal. You're not overreacting. It is what it is. But is this backbreaking for this Ravens team, the way that they just lost this football game tonight? Because they didn't run for the bus. The last time the Bills beat the Ravens in the regular season, they were up like 3 scores at halftime at home, and the team basically was like, we're out because you guys didn't even show up, and Josh Allen came back and beat them. What does this do to the psyche of this football team week 1? Because this is a different kind of loss than had the Bills lost 40-25.
So I'm speaking to both sides of it, right? So if this was if there was a moment there where we were going to lose this game by 15 points.
Yes.
And we'd be all murder hornets all over that secondary, all over the play calling, which are really 2 of the glaring concerns, like the passing game. I didn't have too much to say about the running game. I wasn't that upset about it. But then the fact that we come back and beat them, it's almost like when you're the Ravens now, it's not devastating at all because they're like, look, these are the things we can do. Holy cow, how did we allow this thing to snowball and we just can't put the ball on the ground? Derrick Henry doesn't put the ball on the ground.
Doesn't end. Or it doesn't. The Bills don't win that game.
The Bills don't win the game. Right. I mean, it just becomes infinitely harder. They punt. Now we got to go 75 yards rather than the mere 32 for the score. Jackson Hawes, by the way. Wow. Okay. Let's double clutch that thing.
Yes. Wow.
And, terrible spot on Josh's slide. Terrible spot on that. I don't think the Baltimore Ravens are too concerned about losing to the Buffalo Bills first game of the season in Buffalo. Okay.
But
I think
it's the how they lost though.
It's the how we almost lost too. We're walking into that film room tomorrow. If you think that film room is going to be, pizza and wings and Gatorade flowing and everybody.
Anchor Bar's not catering that game.
Oh, hell no. Listen, I don't want to be in that secondary meeting. I don't want to be in the defensive meeting. That is going to be a complete shit show. That's going to be a film session. Like guys are going to walk out of there like bleeding. Okay.
Right.
And it's going to be I don't care that we won the damn game because that was fugly and a half.
Right. Sure. Speaking of fugly and a half, let's get into some of these stats. I feel like I'm finally kind of getting that whole setup that I just gave you about losing this way for the Ravens. Does it mean something? Makes me feel like I'm kind of getting my wits about me again. But getting into this football game, the Buffalo Bills, as far as team stats go, Josh Allen, 33 of 46 for 394 yards, which he did not have 394 yards passing with 10 minutes left in that football game, and then by 5 minutes, and then what happened after that with 2 touchdowns. I think he finished with 3, didn't he? Did he finish with 3 touchdowns or just the 2? He had a rushing touchdown, right?
He had a rushing touchdown.
That's what.
Yeah, and that only gets you a 112 passer rating.
He had 2 rushing touchdowns, not just 1.
Yeah, and the guy on the other side of the field goes 14 of 19 for 209 and gets a 144 passer rating. Somebody riddle this out for me.
Just make it make sense, right? Rushing, James Cook, 13 carries for 44 yards with a touchdown. Josh Allen, 14 carries. It didn't feel like he ran the ball. It felt like there was a couple first downs there that Josh Allen could have had with his legs that he chose not to take. Even in the crowd could feel it. They were like, it just feels like Josh. Man, there was an odd, I don't know if the word is juxtaposition. There was an odd balance in the stadium where you felt like Superman Josh, like superhero, sugar high, hero ball Josh that's not been good at times was about to show up, because like in that first half, it just wasn't going well into the third quarter. And then all of a sudden it kind of shifted to, we need Superman Josh to show up and win this football game, which he ended up being lights out at the end of this game and just kind of took it over. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would say though that he didn't really go off, the script. He scrambled quite a bit, but he didn't do things like we used to see from 4 or 5 years ago. He played within the game plan, within what they want him to do. I think the slide, they really have to take a look at the slide thing a little bit better. That should be an automatic quick replay on the slide. There were a couple of times when he left the pocket too early, in my estimation, but he likes to be out there. He likes to throw on the move. What was nice is, and I don't say it was too much Superman Josh, because the guys around him really showed up, Josh Palmer really showed up. Keon Coleman was terrific. The tight ends played very, very well. And, I'm out of the backfield, of course, James Cook with 5 receptions for 58 yards. I mean, that was epic, right? I mean, just him catching that little outlet pass and breaking away was beautiful.
Yeah, for sure. Josh looked and felt very uncomfortable in the pocket early on in this game. He had happy feet. It just felt like he wasn't necessarily sure kind of like where stuff was coming from. He just felt hurried and then settled in nicely as this game progressed. Ty Johnson.
And you could argue, Joe, that, if you don't play any of the preseason games, you don't really get that feel. So you spend quarter one and part of quarter two. And I don't even know if Lamar played in the preseason or any of those guys did either. But
they look sharp.
They did. They look sharp. And we didn't look horrible, but I just don't think we came out and said we're going to go for the throat right now. We just kind of went back and said, "Oh, we're going to see what you're going to do, and we line up like this, and we're going to kind of dink it around a little bit." I don't like that kind of football. I don't.
Ty Johnson, 2 carries for 24 yards. Elijah Moore, 1 carry for 8. Ray Davis, 1 for 2. Receiving in this game, what turned into some guys nibble turned into a little bit of everybody eats. Keon Coleman finished with 8 receptions for 112 yards and 1 touchdown, which he was not trending that way into the third quarter, like halfway through the third quarter. Khalil Shakir, 6 for 64. Joshua Palmer, 5 for 61. James Cook 5 for 58. He had that one long run that was brilliant, where Josh moved him to the opposite side, and then he cut in front of him, and Josh beat the blitz. The blitz was in his face, and he beat the blitz. And that's just the moment of greatness right there for Josh Allen, like maturity as a quarterback, where it's like, I see you blitzing here. I'm just going to give it to this guy, and he's going to rip off a 50-yard run or a 40-yard run, whatever it was. Dalton Kincaid, 4 receptions for 48 yards with a touchdown. Jackson Hawes, the one big catch, one for 29, took him down to the 2-yard line, 3-yard line. Dawson Knox, 2 for 20. I thought Knox. Oh, it was Kincaid that had the touchdown. Kincaid had the touchdown in the first quarter, correct? I thought it was Knox. Yep. Elijah Moore, 1 for 3. Ray Davis. And it's funny because when you look at the wide receivers, Elijah Moore, Joshua Palmer didn't really have great games in this football game. Even still, I mean, Keon Coleman kind of showed up. He had a couple bad drops, but when you look at the stats as far as that goes, winning this game in the last 5 minutes turned this whole thing right side up. I think you would probably agree.
Entirely. I'll say this. Joshua Palmer, I think, really had a great impact on the game. Now, there's errors here and there, right? You can't take a guy to the gallows for one drop, just the same as you can't take a tackle to the gallows for one hold, right?
Right.
So in the entirety of the game, I think the catches that Palmer made and the efforts that he made to get extra yards after the catch were really terrific. And he ended up with, a pretty decent average of 12.2 per reception. Keon Coleman really showed out why he can be the guy on those contested catches, in the physical nature of his ability and his understanding of the game, and working in particular with Josh. I think this is a really good harbinger for things to come between Josh and Keon.
Yeah.
Beyond that, again, role players, I still like this idea that we spread the ball around. Everybody probably came into this game thinking Josh Allen, Khalil Shakir, because of what Khalil has done historically, but then moving the ball out to Palmer and Coleman along with them, that's really good for this offense. Now, they waited until deep into the second half to start that, which is my biggest complaint. But if we can move that into the first and second quarter, that also helps open up the run game, right? We talk about the run helps the pass, but the pass also helps the run. And the balance of it seemed to be off kilter from first half to second half.
Yep. I will say this as well. Through most of this game, there was a lot of trouble for the wide receivers getting open. There wasn't a whole lot of separation. Getting into team stats, Ravens total yards, Ravens had 432. The Bills had 497. Again, the majority of that coming in the fourth quarter. Passing yards, the Ravens had 194. The Bills had 389. Rushing yards, the Ravens had 238. I mean, this is probably the first time the Buffalo Bills have given up that number, and they've given up that a number that size many times that they've come out on the winning side of it. Rushing yards for the Bills, 108. Yards per play, 8.6 for the Bills had 6.4. Like, the Bills had a good yards per play average. The Ravens were 8.6, lost this football game. First downs.
Well, what people don't realize, though, Joe, is they got all of their running yards on absolutely just one play.
There was a couple big long runs. Well, actually,
No,
Lamar.
I'm kidding. My joke was that Derek Thomas got them all in one run.
Derrick Henry got them all in one run.
What did I say, Derek Thomas?
Yeah, he had. I was going to bring that up too. So he has the first big run that's like 60-something yards, and I think that's the first time in Bills history that they've caught Derrick Henry from behind as Dorian Strong ran him down. I don't know if anybody else picked up on that, but I was like, holy crap, we caught him and tackled him before he made the end zone. And then, of course, he puts in the 50-yarder after that, and then Lamar Jackson had a couple long runs as well. First downs, 19 for the Ravens, 29 for the Bills. Third down efficiency, 6 of 11 versus 7-15 for the Bills. Fourth down efficiency, 1 for 1 for the Bills. The Ravens didn't go for it on fourth down. 78 plays for the Bills in this game, 50 to the Ravens. And you're looking at a first quarter that was 9 minutes to 6 minutes, Ravens to Bills. So that it just flip-flopped completely. And then obviously sacks allowed. The Ravens allowed 2, the Bills allowed 1. Time of possession 34 for the Bills, 25 for the Ravens. And somebody in the comment section a little while ago said, did anybody look at the looks in the faces of the Ravens players? I didn't, because obviously I couldn't. Do you want to expound upon that a little bit? I'm guessing in the last 5 minutes is what we're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, having been there on both sides of this thing, when you're on the Bills sideline and that kick goes through to win the game, I mean, you just have a smile where it's touching your ears, man. And you're just kind of running in the locker room going, holy crap, I can't believe we just got away with that thing. Like, you feel like the sheriffs are going to come in and arrest you for that, right? We stole one. And then on the other side of it, you just have this like dumbfounded expression on your face that you can't seem to like figure out an emotion, because you're like, you're just stumbling around to figure like, when did we really lose this thing? And what you recognize later on is like, holy crap, it just became a snowball, and it was rolling at us and we couldn't do anything about it. And it's so strange, that feeling of having no control, Joe. And that's, I think, the thing about this game for players. Like, you go out there and you do everything in your power, and you have no control, and things get away from you.
Yep. Elton with another super chat for us. He says, everybody eats still a thing, or is Keon now his guy? I think everybody eats is still probably a thing, but there is an expectation that Keon is going to kind of make a sophomore jump, that he's going to become a better player than he was, or than he has been in the past.
Elton, let me add on to Elton. Thank you for the super chat. There will be some strategic game planning based on the types of secondary and personnel that we play against, where we're going to say, we want to feature Keon against this type of corner. We want to feature Khalil against this type of nickel and this type of safety play. So it will be everybody eats, but I think with Joe Brady finally like coming out of his shell in the second half, getting the juices flowing, that's the way they're going to kind of approach this, in my opinion.
There was a moment in this football game too that I felt very like Jim Kelly would never let this happen, and I referenced it before. It was the 3rd and 6, and like the play call comes in, the defense just gets basically run down the entire field. It was a huge play. It was a huge moment. We can't turn the ball over this fast and put the defense back on the field. It's not going to cripple them, but it's going to put them in a really bad situation. And the play call comes in, and I know Josh Allen very much lives in the world of the plays come in, I got to run the play, and I got to be the good soldier, and I got to execute and do my job. But I feel like that 3rd and 6 play call comes in that we're going to run the wide receiver screen again, but this time to a tight end. Jim's not running that play. And I just feel like that's a Jay Cutler moment where I don't know if you were how much you were watching football when Jay Cutler was on the Bears. There was a time when he had his offensive coordinator had changed and they'd removed the right to audible from him. So he was like on Monday Night Football, like breaking the huddle, walking to the line of scrimmage and looking at the defense, and you audibly could hear him mother effing, like swearing, like because he knew the play that they had called would not work against the defense he was looking at, and he was not allowed to make an adjustment. I almost wonder if it's just odd to me, that moment, that my mind is in that spot. To me, that play was such a huge moment in this football game. It did not cost the Bills the game, but it just felt like the whole game kind of like went in a direction after that play. But I know we've already talked about it. So
yeah, and I think was that in the second half? I think it was in the third quarter.
Second quarter.
Oh, second quarter. I was going to say, if it was in the third quarter and he didn't like it, he called a timeout, then we wouldn't have all those timeouts that we needed at the end of the game, right? So sometimes you just got to go with what's called. Now, if they're good at what they do,
I can give you the sequence. So the Buffalo Bills come out, they run down the field 7, and they go 7-0, right? The offense was firing. They open up scoring. They looked really, really good. The Ravens came out kind of methodical, drove the ball down the field. Took them a long time to like get off the field. They kick a field goal 7-3. Right. Then the Bills go with an immediate 3 and out. That's where they ran the ball like real quick twice for some reason. Yep. Like they were trying to catch him and didn't catch him. Then after that, the Ravens get the ball back. That's the Derrick Henry 25 or 20 something yard run. 10-7 Ravens. Momentum is shifted. And then the next series after that, which I believe was in the second quarter, Keon Coleman drops the wide receiver screen pass. There's another short pass
to Palmer. I got that in my notes, to Palmer. Right. And then we ran that screen right
to Kincaid on 3rd and 6. And the Ravens were not fooled and punted. And it was just like, this is how this goes bad. And from there on out, it was like Derrick Henry, another longer, like they come right back out, and it's 17-7. The Bills, to their credit, hung in 17-7, 17-10, 20-10, 20-13, right? I mean, the Bills didn't let it get away from them. Obviously the missed 2-point conversion kind of put them chasing points for the rest of the game, which didn't help. Yeah. So it is what it is. I got some more super chats to get to here, buddy. I get 2 seconds. Elton is super chatting the world on fire tonight. Thank you so much for the super chats. Should Harbaugh have gone 4th down on that final drive? Gone for it? I don't think so. You punt there. You put the hand. His defense have been playing well. They needed one play. They needed one stop, and that's what they do. They go get that stop.
And the position on the field just made sense. You had to punt it there.
Yeah, for sure. Michael, also with the super chat. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. McDermott took the point and we chased
that for 4 scorers.
Oh, gotcha.
McDermott took the point. I think instead of taking the extra point, win for 2, we were chasing that for 4 scores to come.
Yes, which is what I just said, that we were chasing that. Yeah, when we missed.
Oh, good point though. I mean, I think Michael, to address that, you want to try to flip the script at some point, right? Yes. Like you're feeling like, okay, things are kind of going well. We kind of weren't doing things very well earlier. We got to make something happen. This is the time. And people will say this, and I say it all the time, like McDermott sometimes doesn't gamble enough for me. Like I want him to gamble a little bit more. I want Babbage to go a little more gambler on defense. So when we went for 2 there, I was like, yeah, I think that's the kind of thing when you convert that, you create momentum, you create a great feeling on your sideline. Unfortunately, 0 for 3.
Before we get into the Dude Awards real quick, I just want to go over just kind of what has happened on this network and what is kind of happening on this network, which is really, really cool. So obviously we have the Overreaction post-game show, which airs after Buffalo Bills games. Mondays, we have the Salins Off Tackle with John Fina show, which tomorrow John will be probably more put together as we've digested what has happened in the last 4 hours. We'll have our wits a little more about us. Tuesday is On the Beat. This week we've got Matt Perino joining us from Syracuse.com and the Buffalo Shout podcast. Wednesday is the Big O show with Jerry Ostrowski, which I believe there's a reformat coming for Jerry's show, which I'm looking forward to, and it might happen this week. I'm not exactly sure when that's going to happen. And then we've got 2 new shows that we've added to this network recently. One is the Walkthrough with Anthony Marino, who basically just gives you a kind of a quick 15-20 minute thing to final points about the game for you to digest on Saturday or around a cup of coffee, Sunday around a cup of coffee, depending on when you want to listen to it. And then we just launched Mafia Bets, which is a show with Dan Frederick, where he basically, Dan is a professional gambler. Like this is the kind of stuff that he does and has done for a long time. And he hit a bunch of stuff. If you are into sports betting, if that's one of your things, be on the lookout. Episode 2 will be out this week, either on Friday or Saturday. And Dan does a really good job. A lot of what he says makes sense. He digs way deeper. And we get so caught up. I don't know if you've ever done sports betting, John, but we get so caught up in our favorite players and what we think they're going to do that like we get drawn into these bets because it's like, no. My favorite player is James Cook. Of course he's going to rush for 100 yards. And there's a lot of reasons why he's not going to, and why Vegas is kind of chumming the water for you to take that bet and then lose. But really excited just about the programming we've got going on and all the shows we've got, and we've got a really good slate for everybody. So stick with Overreaction Sports. Anything to add to that before we jump to our Dude Awards for the night?
No, I'm really excited about Dan Freddy's show. Can't wait to see what Jerry's got going. We're thrilled to have Anchor Bar on board, and of course Salins for my show. We're having a great time, and we're so happy everybody in the comment section, listening on YouTube, all your podcast formats. I mean, we're just thrilled to have you. We appreciate delivering this material to you.
Indeed. So with that, we're going to do the Dude Awards, and then we'll get out of here. So the Dude Awards. So a lot of places do thumbs up, thumbs down, arrows up, arrow down. We here on the Overreaction Sports Network do the Dude Awards, which basically is when you have a really good game, dude, great game, awesome job. And when you have a bad game, it's dude, we got to talk, bro. It's just not great. And generally the rule of thumb is we don't give Josh Allen the Dude Award because Josh Allen is that dude. So the awards we give out have Josh Allen at the top of them. So with that, I'm going to let you go first for the very first episode of the year, the first game of the year for 2025 season. Who's your first Dude Award, positive Dude Award for the Buffalo Bills in this game?
My Dude Award goes to Ed Oliver.
When he stood up, when he shed his blocker and just basically bear hugged Derrick Henry, I was like, what is happening right now?
I mean, he was a beast today. He's my dude. He's a dude. There are a lot of ties for second place, right? But awesome job, Ed Oliver. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I want to give my Dude Award to Matt Prater. I don't. He came in this week. They put Tyler Bass kicks in the last preseason game, so he's kicking field goals in that last preseason game. I don't think he was full striding it. I don't think he was completely healthy. And then obviously the Buffalo Bills sit him down. They bring in Prater out of nowhere, who's about 100 years old. And then what he did, and I don't know how you were feeling, but I'm biting my nails. Like, this is the moment. How Billsy would it be that we go through that mess, fight it all the way back, right? Like missing 2-point conversions over and over again. And then we were all the way down there, yada, yada. And then like the new guy, because Bass is hurt, comes in, kicks it and misses it. But what a job by Matt Prater making that field goal at 105 years old or however old he is. I want to give a secondary kind of good nod or tip of the hat Dude Award to Joey Bosa. I saw something from Bosa that is effectively elite as it pertains to just pass rush, defensive end play, what we can kind of expect high motor. I just want to give a tip of the hat to Joey Bosa, and Jerry Ostrowski is now joining us. Welcome, Jerry.
What's up, fellas?
We're doing our Dude Award.
You made it for the Dude Awards, Jerry.
Okay. So who did you pick, John?
I picked panty dropper Ed Oliver.
That's a great call.
I took Matt Prater with a tip of the hat to Joey Bosa because I'm really
good. I actually have somebody different than you two.
Oh, nice. What you got?
I am going with a guy that obviously has listened, showed up with a heck of level of play and a sense of urgency, and I thought was magnificent all night, and that would be number 86, Dalton Kincaid.
Yeah.
Dalton, I thought Dalton was awesome tonight. I thought that he and it wasn't just catching the ball. Watch early series of the game. Watch the first series. He's putting dudes on their back. He's taking dudes out of bounds. I mean, he was blocking. Just a tremendous job by him.
That's awesome. Love it. And seeing how we've got you, this has been a very just kind of all over the place show, just because the way the game went and how I was feeling in my notes, and then the way that it ended and trying to get home for the show. Like, it's just been very kind of topsy-turvy tip. So I don't know if before we do our down dude awards, if you want to kind of give just overarching thoughts, or do we want to should we finish the dude awards and then give you an opportunity to speak, Jerry? That's probably what we should do, shouldn't we?
Yeah, go ahead and do that, and then I have some thoughts on it.
Very cool. So this might be a long show, which is good. I'll go first for the negative. No, actually, John, you started us off. Go ahead for the negative dude awards, or the negative. I hate that word, but you know what I'm saying. The other.
Yeah,
half.
I know. How about the lacking luster award? I got to tell you, I'm going to go with Joe Brady. Just holding back in the first half, just not really trusting everything that these guys were working on in camp, this wide receiver room, just playing it a little too conservative for my taste against. You can't do that against Baltimore. They're just too many weapons. They're too explosive. And we were kind of playing, hopscotch when they were freaking running the 100-meter. So let's not see that again, Joe.
Yeah, for sure. Jerry?
No, I just to piggyback on that, I think it's, something we've talked about on this show quite a bit, and something we've clamored for a couple of years. As soon as the Bills went tempo because they were down and they were in the 2-point conversion or a 2-minute situation, as soon as they went tempo, all of a sudden things changed. And I just don't understand why. And I do understand why, okay? Because of the dreaded term complementary football.
Right.
Which is why we don't. But honestly, we are so good in tempo, it's ridiculous.
Yes.
I'm it's easy to say just the front seven, because the front seven of the defense obviously was not good enough in run defense tonight. But I'm going to probably single one guy out, and it's hard to single him out without watching all 22. But I just look at the stats. Terrell Bernard had 3 tackles, and two were solo. Pretty non-existent for a middle linebacker. As far as tackle stats go, if you're trying to stop the run and make some plays. Now, he did have the tackle for loss and had the splash play late in the game, but he was outshined by the likes of, Dorian Williams had 5. I don't like the fact that Christian Benford's our number 1 tackler on the list. We don't need him sticking his head in there on a 250-pound tailback like he was.
Yeah.
And Rapp had 6 himself, but no, that front 7 in general, but Terrell Bernard just really kind of didn't show up tonight and really didn't do much in the passing game either.
Yeah, you guys literally systematically and step-by-step took both of mine. So I was going to go Joe Brady, and then I was going to go Terrell Bernard. I'm going to throw Cole Bishop under the bus. I just feel like the lights are on at this point. Like you're under the lights. It's primetime football. It's go time. And I know that you've had some injuries, and I know that you've had some problems, and I know that, even coaches said you're a little bit behind and you've got to get caught up and yada, yada, yada. But there were some opportunities where things may be a little bit different. If it just felt like, from my first watch being in my seat, I could be wrong. It just felt like he was still struggling a little bit at times in this football game. And that is just me kind of throwing one out there because you guys took both mine.
Well, since I just jumped in, I won't go ahead and do my normal, Lee Corso, not so fast, my friend.
Sure.
But what I will say is this: for everybody clamoring about the safety room and how bad they are, we're going to go ahead and get in a line at the tunnel, okay? We're going to start at the end of the tunnel out to the goalpost, and we're going to line you all up all the way out the tunnel, and then we're going to find the closest guy we can be to 6'4", 250 pounds, who, by the way, isn't 250 pounds. And we're going to give him a 20-yard head start in space, and then I'm going to have each one of you try to tackle him. I don't care if you're an NFL player or not. the front seven was so bad tonight in run fits. It goes back to the Chicago game to me when the whole thing started up. It's hard to play safety when you're in space and the guy that you got to play against is coming at you full speed, and there's no, I mean, hell, the one play, Cole was up on the line of scrimmage and rotated out late and then came over and tried to get him down from the side, and we're talking about, oh, you just need to take his legs out. Really? I mean, how many years?
That accent.
How many years has Derrick Henry been playing in the NFL? Do you think anybody's tried to take his legs out before? I don't know.
We addressed this earlier, Jerry. The way you stop Derrick Henry is you force him to bounce and move lateral, or you get him in the backfield before he gets the momentum going. But as soon as he hits the line of scrimmage with any kind of seam, it's 6, 16, 36, or he's gone.
Right. John, you hit it on the head. I couldn't have said it better myself. Yeah. Making him have to bounce changes everything.
Yeah, there was a moment, I think it was in the second quarter, where it was another one of his 6 yards in a cloud of dust, and I literally in my head popped in, which one of our defenders is going out with a concussion in this game? Because I was just waiting for the knee to hit somebody in the side of the helmet.
Well, I thought it was Benford in the first 3 or 4 plays. He gets up and does this shoulder shake thing, and I'm like, oh, we're completely hosed now.
It's over.
Yeah.
What did you think of Dorian Strong's play in this football game?
Well, I mean, he made 2 tackles in the game. I thought the holding call was bogus. I thought it was
terrible.
It was a terrible call.
It was
terrible.
That was a veteran playing against a rookie call, is what that was. That was what you call the Jordan call in the NBA. You know, Jordan's going to get the calls because he's Jordan. And I'm not saying that receiver is the level of Jordan, but you know what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sure.
I don't think that. I mean, obviously, we're gonna until we look at the all 22 to really look at it. But a lot of the stuff to me was. You know, we gave up completions underneath with guys trying to chase and things like that. Benford gave up some passes tonight.
Yeah.
So, you know, say what you will. I think the fact that the only time we heard about Dorian Strong was on that BS holding call, that's bodes pretty well for him.
There was the one broken coverage he had. I believe it was his guy. I think they were in man at the time. Number 4, took off down the Bill sideline. It did a crosser, came across, and I don't know if he got caught up in the wash. I didn't get to see in the replay what happened or how he ended up being 15 yards behind him, but then the receiver took off. Number 4 took off.
I think this time next year. Yeah.
That was Dorian Williams giving chase on that, Joe.
No, it was 43. It was Dorian Strong.
I think that this time next year we're talking about how Dorian Williams is going to solidify that cornerback 2 spot.
Dorian
Strong. Yeah.
Excuse me.
It's funny you say that, Jerry, because I made the point earlier. The fact that he got thrown into this game as a rookie and played as well as he did, that gives him experience far beyond playing 5 plays a game or 10 plays a game. He'll come out of this one with the film, the understanding. He'll get rid of all those butterflies pregame. I mean, it's an incredible step forward for a kid like that.
Right, exactly. And I think, like, for instance, TJ Sanders struggled a little bit on some run fits, but he did have some good rushes and did some things. You could see some stuff shine through. I'll look at all 22, but the few times I saw him, it's troubling to me when the line of scrimmage is down here and I see Deion Walker all the way up here. I thought that he struggled, and I figured he would struggle in this situation. I thought he did. Being big just is only part of the equation. So we'll see how it goes. But these are all young guys, and they got to learn and you know, they got to learn and fire, and that's what they're doing. And again, we've talked about it. Let's not harp on the fact about how horrible they are. Let's get to week 8, 9, and 10, and then see how this defense has progressed. But there are some things schematically that I would like to see different, honestly.
Yeah. We can talk more about that as we get further into the season and further into the weeks as far as that goes. Any final thoughts from either of you two gentlemen before I get us out of here? Jerry, it's good to hear your voice. It's good to have you on the show. There's a balance when the 3 of us are on together that just kind of I think I'm used to after last year. So it's nice to have your voice, even if it was a little bit late. But any final thoughts, John?
Man, I'm good. I'm glad to be wrong. I picked the Bills to lose just like you did. Happy to be wrong, buddy.
I think this is a huge win, and shout out to why Sean McDermott should be the head coach of this football team. This team had every reason to throw the towel in and give up. and they didn't do it.
Mm.
They continued to play hard, and at the end of the game, the defense made 2 plays.
Right.
They caused a fumble, and they got a stop on 3rd down when the Ravens were trying to kill the clock. And if you look at this series in the last 2 games, okay, Baltimore, now you get another 18 to 20 weeks to think about revenge because you didn't get it tonight, so you can think about it for a while longer.
Right.
But 2 plays, a drop 2-point conversion and a fumble have caused them to be 0-2.
Yep, you're not wrong.
But that's because of the belief in McDermott, and those guys play hard for him, and I truly believe that.
Yeah, they definitely righted the ship. It was I don't know how your other show went, but for me, I had a hard time. I'm still befuddled at what I witnessed for 55 minutes, only to have it turn the way that it turned.
Well, I would imagine
it was very not what we are used to watching as Bills fans.
But I would imagine it's the same thing that you talked about earlier before I got on. Was the same thing we talked about was, you know, why are we taking the young wild horse and trying to put him in a corral?
Yes.
You know, let's let him go out and do the things that he does.
Yeah, I tweeted.
And when
that.
we finally got to the 2-point or the behind and got the 2-minute offense, they tempoed, and all of a sudden, hey, the MVP showed back up.
Yeah, I've been saying that to John for a couple of years, and I said it on this program last year a couple of times that I use the word 4-minute offense, and I know there's big what's the difference between a 2 and a 4? There's just something when they're trying to burn 28 seconds of a 30-second time clock. Josh Allen plays different than when he's going at 15 seconds. He just plays different. And to your point, though, complimentary football, right? They don't want to go 3 and out or 6 and out or whatever, however many plays and out, and put that defense right back on the field, which it seems like a lot of times they get kind of stuck in the mud and they end up doing it anyway. They did it a couple times tonight, but yeah.
I will say this: the only thing better than I saw 3 things that were great this weekend. One was this victory. The second thing was the only thing I wanted to see this weekend was Joe Brady's tweet that said 1-0, and then the other one was Bruno Fina, even though it was a loss, played a hell of a football game this weekend. I watched all of his ass on TV, and he got after it. I'm proud of Bruno. He looked really good.
Nice.
Thanks, buddy.
Good. And your son had a sack in his football game.
Typical difference between Bruno and Owen. Bruno, he plays 80 plays and plays 78 well and 2 not great, and they harp on the 2. Owen could play like junk for 68 plays, but has a sack and a tackle for loss, and he might be Defensive Player of the Year. So who knows?
It's awesome. Excellent. Gentlemen.
He still sounds bitter. Just like me. Just like me.
Such a fun game. This one will go down in the annals of time. We talked a little bit about it, Jerry. I don't know if you guys saw it. This first game ever, 41-40. Also, before this, teams that rushed for 235 yards, and I can't remember what the other one was, were 277-0. And now the Ravens have done what the Bills have done a couple times over the last couple of years, which is now it's 277-1 for teams that have rushed for 235 yards and so many touchdowns, whatever, and lost.
Can I add one more?
Sure.
And the Ravens are now 10-1 when Derrick Henry rushes for 100 yards or more. They were 10-0,
and now they're
10-1.
There you go. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning into the Overreaction Buffalo Postgame Show on the Overreaction Sports Network, presented by FanDuel. Man, I'm gonna have to rewatch this one a couple times. Although I might not rewatch the whole thing. I might just rewatch the last 8 minutes over and over again because it was
Joe. That doesn't give you the story.
Oh, I don't know that I need this story anymore. I sat in the stadium listening to Ravens fans behind me saying it's too easy. It's just too easy, and I'm just like, I wanted to throw a guy over the rail tonight. I'm just like.
They weren't lying.
How long am I going to go to prison for if I throw this guy over the rail, like into the red seats? But so good to have you guys join us for this late one. Tomorrow, Monday, or today, Monday, Victory Monday, the off tackle, Salen's off tackle with John Fina show. Tuesday, Matt Perino on the beat. Wednesday, the Big O show. Friday, sometime this weekend, Friday will be Mafia Bets again. And then the walkthrough with Anthony as we get ready for the next game, week 2 for the Buffalo Bills season. But for me, for John, for Jerry, for Anthony, for Dan, for all of us here at Overreaction, we appreciate you guys. We love you. Go Bills.
Go Bills. Much love. Go Bills.
Go Bills.